Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. Now, for the benefit of all those who are not familiar with the channel or watching this channel for the first time, the reason why it is called Uncommon Sense because here on this platform we discuss everyday issues where we try to find logical solutions. But not everyone uses logic. So for that reason, it is called uncommon sense. I just want to let everybody know that I'm currently live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. As always, I want to give a huge shout out to all those good people who have subscribed to my channel. I also want to give a shout out to all those who follow me on social media. And I also want to give a huge shout out to all those who allowed me to enter in their devices. And to all those good people, I just want to say thank you very much for your love and support. I'm going to ask that if you have not done so, please subscribe, like, and hit the bell notification to all. So therefore, whenever I do prepare content, you will have the opportunity to catch it live or to catch it on the playback. Also, if anyone wishes to enter a comment, I do have the subscriber mode on. So therefore, anyone who is not a subscriber, if they wish to enter a comment, you will need to subscribe. The reason why I'm doing that is to try to limit the presence of the trolls. Okay. Now, before we get into the topic, let me just acknowledge the fact there's currently 4 people watching the stream, and hopefully others will join later on. I know tonight is going to be kind of busy because um, as we speak, Don Armando is having his own stream, which the topic has dealing with performers and rap artists who are committing suicide, which is a serious topic. So you're more than welcome to catch it on the playback, or you can try to catch it now and then come back later on, depending how long the stream lasts. Uh, Before we get into um, the topic, there's a few things that I'm going to need to address. Okay. In a few minutes, I will drop the link if anyone wishes to join the panel and express their views regarding the topic in hand. I would ask that please no remarks regarding FBA and ADOS, how great they are. No offense, okay? I know that it's one thing to be proud of your communities. It's another thing if it gets to the point where you put down other groups. I am not going to allow that on my platform. Now, I'm going to take care of some housekeeping. Now, as far as my schedule is concerned, I'm going to be tweaking it a little bit. And what I mean by that is that it's going to become a little bit more fluid in regards to my stream regarding open topics. And I see here we have James Mapp um, and entering the chat. Good evening, sir. Thank you very much for stopping by. Okay. So when it comes to my live call-in show regarding open discussion, there'll be times when I'll have it on Saturday afternoon. There'll be times I'll have it on Friday evening. Also, there'll be times I might do it on Sunday. So just to let everybody know, um, it would become more fluid. Also, another thing that I need to address is the following. I do support multiple people because uh, there are a lot of great content creators, and they've been very receptive towards me, allowing me to enter into the chat, acknowledge my presence, and allow me to enter the panel once they open it up for everybody. I'm not addressing any particular creator, but just as a general statement, just the following. If you say that you're going to open up the panel to all, and then out of left field, you decide not to let me in on the panel or not acknowledge me in the chat, that is your right. You can do so. Please bear in mind that just as you dictate who goes on your platform and who you acknowledge, I do the same as well. Okay? And anyone which I support, if for whatever reason you choose not to let me on your platform, that's perfectly fine. Okay? You have the right to dictate how you see fit. Just bear in mind, I also have the same right as well. Okay? But I'm happy to say that I do have received a lot of love by multiple creators, YouTube creators. So that is perfectly fine. Now, what I'm going to do is we're going to get into the topic, which is how to deal with disappointment. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the link. Okay. And anyone who wishes to join the panel, they're free to do so. Okay. Okay. Also, anyone that if they prefer not to join the panel but enter a comment, that's perfectly fine. Because I do understand that there are individuals who, for reasons, they feel more comfortable entering comments in the chat than to join the panel. And here we respect everyone's comfort zone. Okay. So also, before I continue, next Tuesday, I will be having a serious discussion as it pertaining to suicide. And I will talk about how suicide is not the solution. So during that discussion, I will be sharing some resources. If anyone in the audience, or if you know anyone, or anyone in the audience knows anyone that's dealing with mental health issues, please share these resources with them. And also, I'm going to be sharing my own personal story on how I dealt with depression and thoughts of suicide. Okay. Now we're going to get into the topic in question, which is how to deal with disappointments. Now, and I see here we have Gigi in the house. Good evening. Thank you very much for stopping by. I don't know if you're able to join the panel because, we all have busy schedules. First of all, before I continue, I just want to let everybody know that both James Math and Gigi Golden Goddess have their respective channels. And they do have a lot of interesting content. So I will ask that if you have not done so, please subscribe to their channels and check out their content. So that being said, so now we're going to be dealing with disappointments. Now, disappointments can come in many times during our lifetimes. It could be, there are many reasons why we have disappointments. Some of them have to do with the personal choices which we all made. Others has to do with circumstances beyond our control. Okay, and sometimes it could be because um, improper planning or a question of timing. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be sharing some information regarding how disappointments and how to deal with them. Okay, and sometimes the disappointments could be serious, and it can come in many ways and in many forms. It could be disappointment because regarding people not fulfilling expectations. It could be people who have betrayed us. It could be people who hurt us. And I see here we have a comment on Afro. Yes, good evenings. Good evening, Afro. Thank you for stopping by. And please, everyone, as you enter in, please hit the like button. It doesn't cost you anything and it helps me with my algorithm. Okay. Now, as I stated before, you're quite welcome. And also, we have the presence of the one, fearless, NK Echo Chamber. Good evening, sir. Thank you very much. And yes, by all means, please share this with other people because this is a serious topic and we all have to learn how to deal with disappointments. As I stated before, anyone can be guilty, or let's say anyone can disappoint, whether it be parents, whether it be siblings, whether it be children, can it be co-workers, spouses, um, relatives. I know, unfortunately, at times I have disappointed other people. So that's something that I freely admit. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read an article, excuse me, from a publication called Better Up. Okay. And this was dated, let's see, just give me a moment. Okay. Okay, I don't recall the date. Oh, okay. August the 30th of this year. Okay. So I'm going to read to you this article. Okay. We all felt waves of disappointment when something doesn't go according to plan. Whether it's canceling a wedding due to a global pandemic or missing out on the promotion you wanted, learning how to deal with disappointment is just part of life. Resilience helps us to overcome these challenging moments and find the strength to move on. Instead of letting our emotional well-being being impacted for months over unmet expectations, we can recover faster and find things to be grateful for in the present moment. Read on to learn about what disappointment is and steps you can take to overcome life's difficult times. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to define what is disappointment. Okay. Disappointment is feeling unhappy because someone or something was not as good as you hoped or expected. When we feel unhappy because our hopes and expectations are unfulfilled, we experience the feeling of sadness or disappointment. But how does this relate to our emotions in general? Okay. You may already know about the six basic human emotions: joy, anger, sadness, fear, surprise, and disgust. Okay. In the 1980s, Robert, I hope I pronounced it correctly, Plotchick presented his Wheel of Emotions theory. This added two more emotions, making it eight essential emotions in pairs of opposites. His emotion were included joy, trust, fear, surprise, sadness, disgust, anger, Anticipation. Interesting. The wheel of emotions define how human emotions cycle through each other and expand beyond these primary emotions into more refined or complex experiences. The results are emotional states like annoyance, boredom, aggressiveness, admiration, and awe. Disappointment is one such offshoot, a complex emotion that stems from sadness. It's what we feel when our expectations for the desired outcome are dashed. We all instantly recognize the feeling of being let down and the anger we must feel when something we thought we deserved didn't happen, or the grief we experience when we miss out on an opportunity. That's the subjective experience of bitter disappointment. Now I'm going to be talking about the causes of disappointment. Okay. Hopefully, other people will catch the stream live or they catch it on the playback. At any point, if you wish to enter a comment, um, you may do so. Please be mindful, you must be a subscriber in order to enter a comment. Number one, the arrival fallacy. And we have the presence of the one and only Blazing King. Good evening, sir. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing well. Also, Blazing King has his own YouTube channel, so please subscribe if you have not done so and check out his content. Now, the fallacy, arrival fallacy is this is unique experience of disappointment occurs when we so focus on achieving our goals that we forego the process. We overextend ourselves and we live with unhappiness every day. All of this for the quiet promise when we arrive at our destination makes the struggle worthwhile. If you're experiencing arrival fallacy, it's because there's an internal misalignment. What you thought would bring you a positive emotion turned out to be unfulfilling. Number two, expectations of people, places, things. The second cause of disappointment comes from the expectations we have around external factors. When unrealistic expectation does not match the actual circumstances, we don't want to accept what happened. And if we have high expectations around a situation or an outcome, we experience even more intense disappointment. Interesting. Number three, childhood experiences. The third source of disappointment comes from our experiences in childhood. You may experience a traumatic event around a loss or disappointment during childhood. From this, your psyche draws a negative conclusion about the circumstances. Sense. Positive thinking is not a habit you're familiar with. And I see here we also have the presence of Kicha. Kisha, good evening. Thank you very much for stopping by. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the link again should anyone wishes to join the panel. Okay. Now let me just continue. But it's not an objective evaluation of the circumstances. It's a subjective experience. The discouragement you experience can quickly turn into self-fulfilling prophecy unless you learn how to deal with it. And if you want to be a leader or even just navigate professional life with satisfaction and happiness, you will have to learn to regulate your emotions. Okay, and I'm gonna confess something right here. Um, I have times had struggle with this concept um, regarding um, um, things that happened in my childhood, but I have managed to move on. I see here. Oh, I'm sorry to hear about that. Okay, I hope that you are well. Uh, and if you're not home, please take care of yourself. Make sure, I hope and pray that you get home safely. Okay, sorry. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you uh, 5 ways to deal with disappointment. And this is something we all need to learn, and I need to apply this in my life as well. Knowing the cause of your disappointment isn't likely to make it through though. These feelings can easily lead you to wallow, so you need some coping strategies to bounce back from life negative situations. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you the 5 steps, and then I'm going to discuss it in length. Um, those 5 steps are: number one, let it out; number two, get perspective; number three, know your own heart; number four, practice self acceptance; and number five, don't let it fester. Okay. And I gotta admit, there have been times I have been guilty of letting disappointments fester. So just a little transparency. So just to let everybody know that it's okay if you have struggled with some of these things. Okay. So the first one is let it out. Whether it's disappointment or anger, you need to feel it and let it out. A healthy way to achieve emotional health is to confide in your friends and family or even a therapist. You can also channel this kind of tough motivation into a creative outlet. Try writing it in a journal or doing something physical like taking a long run. The point is to regulate your emotions and manage your negative thoughts by feeling whatever you're feeling and allowing it to pass. Research has shown that emotional suppression can hinder our personal growth. Without the ability to feel emotions and actively express them, you have trouble adapting to new and unfamiliar situations. I'm going to confess that I have been guilty of this at times. At times, express emotions for reasons that were not always clear, but and just as a personal note, um, recently I've been through um, a lot of difficult situations in my own personal life, but that's the topic for another stream. Okay. And I see here that there's 6 people watching this stream, and I just want to say to all of you, thank you very much. Okay. Number 2, get perspective. When things go wrong, it's so easy to feel like the end of the world instead of seeing the bigger picture. Okay. Communication with loved ones about your disappointment can bring much near clarity. Okay, and I see here. Yes, yes, I'm glad to. Okay, I might give you a call either tonight or tomorrow just to make sure that you're okay. When you get an outside perspective other than your own, you can begin to see things for what they really are rather than how you feel about them. Now I'm going to talk about number 3, knowing your own heart. Of course, you have to balance that external validation with your own inner wisdom. The problem with emotions like disappointment is that they can completely derail our visions of ourselves. We can start to doubt our abilities and feel like an imposter. Our sense of self can become skewed when too many disappointments stack up. That's why it's so important to know your core values and principles before you embark on any goal. Better yet, do yourself a favor and examine your whys. Keeping these whys alive will help you to get up and try again while keeping your self worth intact. It's very important to observe, and I know that uh, at times I have also struggled with this. I guess tonight's kind of like a night of self-reflection and the, just to give you an insight. Now, the fourth thing is practice self-acceptance. Okay, and I see where. Yeah, unfortunately, uh, we're living in crazy, dangerous times. So we have to be ever vigilant. Once you check in with yourself and your supporters, it's easier to accept where you are at the right starting point for a fresh start. Practicing self acceptance means practicing positive self talk and continually rooting yourself in the now. Eckhart Tolle calls the power of now, a practice similar to meditation and mindfulness. Accepting the present moment allows you to acknowledge what is real. Okay. And we also have another comment on Blazing King. Like breath, disappointment comes and goes. So breathe into it and let it pass. Okay. Um, Number five, which is extremely, all of these strategies are important, but I think this one is particularly important, which is don't let it fester. The worst thing you can do is brood over negative experiences. Again, the variable here is time. You certainly don't have to bounce back from disappointment before you've done all the previous steps. But once you've given yourself some time to come to terms with your circumstances, it's time to begin again. Otherwise, disappointment could easily sour into anxiety, negative thinking, and resentment. And we have a guest. So, before, okay, this one share the disclaimer. The views of those who appear on the panel are not necessarily those of the host on the channel. Um, Any attempt to copy the material without the permission of the host or the channel is prohibited. By appearing on the call, you waive your right to your image. Some of the views that people might hold may be considered offensive to some viewers. If you do not like the channel, you can the content you can block the channel. And now we're going to bring in our first guest.
Hey Jose,
Good evening, Gigi.
how
How
are
are you doing
you?
today? I'm
I'm
fine,
feeling a
thank
little
you.
better.
Okay. The topic is tonight is how to deal with disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what I was just sharing is I was just sharing some strategies um, how to deal with disappointment because that's something that we all experience. I mean, sometimes we get disappointed by uh, friends, loved ones. Also, we have certain expectations which are not met. And sometimes, unfortunately, we've been guilty of disappointing others. So, have you given much thought on the subject?
Yeah, I think that for me at this point, I kind of rely more on my intuition because when I think about experiences and I look back, it's like I already had that feeling. We kind of just overlook those feelings and just give people the benefit of the doubt. But now I just kind of go with my first intuition. It doesn't mean that I won't be friendly with a person, but it just means that I don't have that much expectation for that person when I can already see the shade in them, you know?
Well, I can
Basically
understand.
lowering expectations for people that you know that
Yeah,
aren't going to rise to the occasion anyways.
yeah.
But
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I wanted to
Go ahead.
say, talking about disappointments, I feel so bad for Cashel. I was wondering if she could come up because she says she just got attacked, and I keep hearing all these stories about how it's so bad over there.
Well, what I'm going to do is I happen to have her phone number, so I'm going to try to reach out to her after the stream just to make sure that she's okay.
Hmm.
because I mean, she's not just a another YouTube creator. She's also a dear friend of mine, and we both belong to the same union. So I've known
Oh,
her
okay.
for over 3 years.
Mm-hmm. So
So
scary.
yeah, it's crazy what's happening in New York. It's like everyone's went self for themselves and whatnot, and it's like there's no law and order. I mean, the police are, well, helpless. The court system is like going awry, and people doing all sorts of crazy stuff.
There's like no respect for like the elderly, for women. There's like no boundaries anymore, you know? I
Yes,
mean, I'm
I
not
can
saying that
see.
anybody else should be attacked either, but damn, you know? Elderly people and women, it's getting bad. Kids, you know?
Well, okay. Well, look. I remember a time that even in the roughest neighborhoods, okay, those are so-called
Mm-hmm.
like people who do crime. Usually, at one time they respected the elderly and leave the elderly alone.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
nowadays is that you can forget about it. Anyone can be the victims of assault and what have you.
Yeah. So sad.
Yeah,
I see them like
yeah,
attacking the elderly people, beating them up. It's really sad.
yeah. It's like people are living without any morals.
Mm-hmm. Do you believe that
Yeah.
we're in the end days?
You know what? Okay. Well, as a Christian, I believe we do. I believe we are. Now, I understand
Mm-hmm.
that not everyone subscribe to that, and that's perfectly fine. But when you think
Mm-hmm.
about it, all the stuff that's happening, and it's crazy when you think about how,
Signs.
uh, yeah, not only
Mm-hmm.
that, how okay, women are attacked, assaulted. The amount of disrespect that we have for each other, it's shocking.
Parents and children, children and parents. Yeah, like everything. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and in my case, I've been experiencing a lot of disappointment, not just disappointment, but I've been dealing with a lot of emotional trauma in my life. Just two
Mm-hmm.
years ago, just like 2.5 2 years ago, uh, my oldest sister, my mom, passed away 6 months apart, and then we're dealing with C19 and what have you, and with the monkeypox,
Mm-hmm.
and then I mean, it's incredible. Okay.
Yeah.
Good evening, Keisha.
Hi,
Keisha.
Michelle.
Keisha.
Hi, good evening, guys.
Hi, honey. I'm glad you're
You guys are
okay.
so
What
therapeutic right
happened?
now. Oh my God. I was just like going to the supermarket to get like two things, literally one block away. And as I'm outside, I see this Hispanic guy with his cell phone. He's like cursing out this guy, like, you motherfucker, I'm gonna call the cops, I'm gonna get you arrested. So as I see the guy saying that, he's like, Miss, watch your back. This guy's out here chasing women. So the guy looked like a bum with a bag of popcorn, so I really paid him no mind whatsoever. So I'm noticing, the guy's not walking my way. And the Spanish guy who's recording him on video, cursing him out, is also walking my way. So I walk in the street, the guy walks in the street. I get on the curb, the guy gets on the curb. I walk faster, he walks faster. So now you're chasing me. So I start
Mm-hmm.
speeding up, he starts speeding on me. So I start speeding. So the Spanish guy recording him starts speeding. And another nearby guy who was like chaining up his bike to the fence, he's like, what are you guys doing? What's going on? Yelling at the Spanish guy, thinking that I think the bystander thought the Spanish guy was being racist or discriminatory because
Mm-hmm.
the Spanish guy was really loud and cursing and using profound language like, I'm gonna get you fucking arrested. You just did this to my fucking daughter. Miss, watch your back. Miss, watch your back. So after the second time he said it, I started looking behind me, and the guy was like on my heels and started really sprinting, chasing me. to the point where the bystander who saw the Spanish guy yelling at the man actually was like, what's going on? And the guy said, he just did this to my daughter. He's out here chasing women. Soon as the guy said that to him, the homeless man like sped up and ran behind me. So then I started running. So then the bystander and the Spanish man recording tackled him in the street. The guy's popcorn fell all over the place, and he's looking like crazy, like he doesn't, like, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. So I'm
Oh
like
my God.
running into the supermarket at this point. By the time I get out of the supermarket, the police are everywhere outside. So another bystander I didn't even know, he's like, that's the girl, that's the woman. He just chased her down. Like, that's her. So I go to the police and I'm like, oh my God, this random man just like tried to attack me. I'm like, I don't even know him. And they're like, oh, we got to take him to the hospital. He doesn't really understand what's going on. I'm like, hold on, you know this nigga? He's like, yeah, he's kind of coherent. He's not all there. I'm like, wow, this is a mental health situation. Like, but I'm like fucking all over the place, emotional, like heart palpitating, mad. I don't got my stun gun, my razor, my pep spray. Like, I'm 2 blocks away from my house, not thinking I need to carry anything on me to go get like 2 items from the store. And I just can't believe that shit just happened. I had on Crocs, a crop top, leggings. I wasn't prepared for that shit.
Yeah, you definitely have to leave the house holding at all times, honey.
I'm
It's
just
sad,
like, I
but
can't believe that shit happened to me. And it's like, I really stereotyped him. He looked like a bum carrying popcorn. He couldn't even stand up straight. But honey, that nigga was on like a 50-yard line dash with me.
don't make me laugh. I can't, my chest.
And I'm looking at him like, oh, he's not a threat. Like, even as the Spanish man is like, miss, watch your back. I'm like, oh, he's no threat. Like, I can kick him. This nigga sped up on me so fast. He was behind me before I even knew it. Like, could almost touch me. And like, he tackled him like 2 football players. Like, the way he fell to the floor was like crazy. And I just ran across the street to the store. Like, oh, fuck out of here. And when I came out the store, like, there was like 10 police officers. I'm like, yes, this nigga just tries to attack me. I don't know who the fuck he is. I don't know him. Like, yes, y'all need to arrest him. They had him in cuffs, and they're like, oh, he doesn't even understand what's going on. He's going to the hospital. I'm like, y'all know this motherfucker? Sorry, Jose, for my language. I'm sorry. I'm just like really emotional right now.
No. Okay, ladies. One thing I made it clear from the onset. I don't censor people here. Okay, as long as you keep it respectful, you can say whatever you want.
Okay, but that was pretty much it, So after they started talking about how he didn't have it all there and he's homeless or whatever, or he's crazy, I just walked off and got in the house quickly, like, but still shaking up. Like, I can't believe that shit just happened. Like, I don't know what he was gonna do. If he's gonna try to stab me, fondle me, I don't know what he was gonna try to do, but he was on my neck.
And most of these attacks are that, right? It's the mental health crisis, right?
Yeah, everyone is like has an issue that's not addressed or diagnosed.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, speaking about mental health, I mean, I'm currently seeing a therapist because I have a lot of emotional trauma that I've been through. Okay, because I know there's a time when you have to like admit that you need professional help. Problem is, it's very hard to actually admit that you need therapy, and it's even harder if you are a male, and particularly in my generation because I'm a baby boomer. I mean, no one talk about seeing a therapist in our younger days. Okay.
I'm pretty open about the fact that I see a therapist. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much for stopping by, Blazing. Please be safe. But look, the fact of the matter is this: there is no shame to admit that you need help. Okay, and in fact, Keisha was talking about it
Bye,
on a live
Blasian.
stream on Saturday night. The need for mental health, and I don't know if there's going to be a part 3.
Oh yes, this Saturday, part 3, talking about this experience for sure.
Well, I'm so glad you're okay. That's so scary because, I mean, and then even to underestimate a bum, I mean, these people, like, oftentimes they, like I said, they're crazy. They can do anything. They can really harm you, you know?
Right. You don't know if they have AIDS or some kind of disease they're carrying. Like, you don't know what to think. Like, the sky's the
Weapons.
limit for thoughts, weapons,
Yeah.
like, you can't say what they are capable of or what they're not capable
Hmm.
of. That just proved me, like, hella wrong just now. I'm like, oh, these bums can get it. I even had a bum masturbate in front of me in the train station once while I was waiting for a train going to work. Like, had his whole dick out, excuse me my language, and was like stroking it. And I'm like, something told me to look behind me because I'm waiting for the express train going to work. And I just felt him looking at me. And I ain't gonna front, I had like a tight little skirt, but still, like, come on now, let's be real. I look behind and he's just
Yeah.
jerking off. And like, and he didn't even stop as I'm looking at him. I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck is the train?
There's no
Like, so
shame.
mad. Like, why did I not wear sweats? But if I wore sweats, would that have changed anything? Would he have still done that? Like, trying to justify the
Probably.
shit.
Yeah,
But
probably. He's just a sicko.
that's the problem because you have certain individuals that if a woman was a victim, the first thing they will ask, what was she wearing? Was she wearing something
Exactly. It's always
medium?
about what does she look like.
Look, let me tell you something. You can dress like a 304, okay? But just because you dress like a 304 does not mean, okay, everyone take a number and do whatever me, blah, blah, blah. No, okay? No is no, okay? If you say no, regardless of what you're wearing, and again, you can be a slut, you could be a whore, you could be a 304, or as we say in Spanish, una puta. No is no. And I think you already know what I mean by puta.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Listen, yeah, nobody deserves to be assaulted or whatever, obviously, for how they dress. But I'm not gonna lie, some people be doing too much. Like, so one of my subs sent me an email because I've been sick, like, take ginger and this and this and this, right? So I go today to Smoothie King and to get like a smoothie with ginger and all that. Like, not even exaggerating, the girl that's working there, I'm talking about, like, you just saw everything. Like her whole ass was out of her shorts. She was like putting shit on the shelf. Her whole coochie was basically out, and I was just like, "Is this really necessary at Smoothie King?" You
Ew.
know? I mean, I don't know. Now, like, if some bum were to pull out and start jerking off in that instance,
Like, these
whatever,
bums like me.
would
What
he
the
be
fuck?
wrong?
Well, well, I happen to work in social services, and that okay, and I got this is a funny story I got to share. Okay, um, so one day, I did a field visit, me and another coworker, because at time when we do field visits, we go two at a time because you never know what can happen. I knock on the door. The lady opens up the door. All she had on were bra and panties. So she closes the door. My partner sees my face turn red and asks me, Jerome, what happened? And I say, well, I knocked on the door and there was a lady with bra and panties on.
Mhm.
So she opens the door. She puts on like a trench coat, and then I interview her. Fine. Now another time, we go to visit another female client, and then the lady starts to hyperventilate in front of us. So I do one of these. Okay, lady, please calm down. We're not here to hurt you. We're here to help you. Okay. So we interview the client, and just as we're getting ready to leave, this lady, bless her heart, she makes this statement: "I need to get laid." Okay. Now, I don't know how I managed to keep a straight face. But I just simply say, I'm sorry, miss, but we cannot assist you in that area. I mean, think about it. You have two grown men interviewing a female client, and then she makes a statement.
Well, she had mental health issues, probably, right?
You know what? I just want to make sure that we get out of there before before she makes any accusations of sexual harassment, because you don't know
Hmm.
what's the mental state of some of these people.
Very
I think
true.
the reason why it caught me off guard because like it wasn't like you should have took the sheet was because it wasn't like a bar or nothing. It was literally like Smoothie King, and I'm like, people bring their kid. I don't know. It was just I was shocked. I was like, is business? Are we doing this now to sell smoothies? Or it was a lot, y'all. It was a lot. I was shocked.
You should have took a video of that.
I know, but then I felt like a creep. I thought about it. I was like, I'm not gonna be
I
like that,
feel
all
you. I
creepy,
feel you.
taking, videotaping somebody's cheeks. Like no, I couldn't do it.
And and plus with some of the weird and plus with some of the weirdos that we deal with in YouTube streets, the last thing we need is to give them any more ammo.
That shit would have went viral though.
It would have because I'm not exaggerating. It was a lot. It was a lot, honey. I was just like, oh my God, okay. We're doing that now.
Well, she's calling the boss or something. Something ain't right there.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what their dress code is. I haven't been to Smoothie King in a while either. So I was like, okay, wow. We doing that. All right.
My kid ain't working at Smoothie King, tell you that.
Well,
Do you guys have
well,
Smoothie
look,
Kings up there?
Yeah, we do. We have them in Penn Station and a lot in the city in Midtown.
Oh, okay.
yeah. I mean, sometimes, okay, sometimes, ladies, please don't crucify me for saying this, but sometimes some of these ladies do this to get attention. Again, please
Well, of
don't
course,
crucify
yeah.
me, because unfortunately we're living in a day that we have to be ever so careful. We have to be so PC correct and what have you. And if you say the wrong, even if it's the right thing, if it's said the wrong way, everyone gets triggered.
Hmm. Well, it's like what Afro says. There's, a time and a place. In certain places that's completely appropriate. You know what I mean? And other places, especially where kids are and stuff, not so much. And I don't think it's not just because of like short shorts. It was the fact that it was literal, like the whole cheeks was out. So as you're putting stuff on the shelf, I mean, all your business is showing. I was just shocked, like, oh my God. And I really did think about getting a clip of it because I was so shocked. But then I was like, nah, that's too creep.
Well, unfortunately, Gigi, you had to deal with a lot of trolls in your platform, so and then they come over here.
But that's crazy.
Oh.
Like, did you guys see the video? It went viral about the American Dream water park. I just took my daughter there for her birthday. There was like a chick in the wave pool in the water park with a full G-string bikini top and bottom with all these toddlers and teenagers and little kids surrounding her. Did you guys see that?
No, I didn't.
No, but you can go to water parks now and like basically see that. It's just, I don't know. I feel like it's a lack of respect, It's a time and a place for everything. There's like places where like that is appropriate. You know what I mean?
That's like being at Disney World Wild Kingdom in the park with a G-string bikini. Like
Yeah.
Shorty was like, you could see like one little wave hit her, the whole string would have fell apart. It was one of those like some stripper kind of thing, and it was going viral. Parents were so upset that she was allowed to wear the bathing suit in the wave pool because it was nothing but string, like shoestring, like spaghetti string, like string.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well,
It's like, was that appropriate for that setting, considering that's a children's environment?
I don't think so.
what about that?
But I also think it's inappropriate when they have these gay parades and they have the kids there and the guys are half naked humping around. It's inappropriate as well.
True.
Is anyone aware of the there was this lady that was running for state senate, I think in New Hampshire. The lady was twerking.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
thought that was fake. I saw that video. I mean, she could twerk her ass off. I can't do that. I ain't gonna lie. And I
I
work
think it's
out, not all the
inappropriate.
time, but I'm considered somewhat fit. I'm like, that should be hurting my stomach. I be getting cramps.
I think it's inappropriate when you want to be taken seriously in office, obviously, you know.
yeah. And then some of the things where she was exposing. I mean, look, everybody has a right to expose whatever they wish, but when you're talking about exposing young children to some of this crap, I mean, really, I mean, kids need allowed to be kids. I mean, they shouldn't have to
Hmm.
be worried about whether or not how the genders flow and whatnot, and you
I don't
know,
know if you guys did, but do you remember like being little and they would be like, cover your eyes or something? Like if people were even gonna like kiss or get whatever on TV,
Yeah.
like did they used to do that to you guys?
Yep. Or the nasty
Now,
part of the movie come, they put
yeah,
something in your face, make you turn around.
yes. But now the kids just watch everything. The kids twerk too. Like, you know, it's crazy. Crazy.
yeah.
That's like, in today's society, it's like you'll say Cardi B or Megan Thee Stallion could never be female president, but then it's like that's discriminatory to say that. But it's like at this day and age, anything will be possible in the future.
Hmm.
But you know what the problem is, if whenever a woman decides to run for high office, whether it be the president of the United States, she's going to be under a huge amount of scrutiny. And then you're going to have the typical stereotypes. What she's going to,
Mhm.
how she's going to act when she has her period. What she's going to do when when she has a menstrual cycle, or going through menopause. She might accidentally touch the nuclear button and whatnot. I mean, it's like, come on.
I just think
I
that she
mean,
just limited herself because I mean, who knows how high you could have gone, but like, do you really think you're gonna make it to president with that out? Probably not now. You know what I mean?
look,
That's just
unfortunately,
reality. They judge politicians harshly, you know?
yeah.
Very true. Like they go through their taxes and they personal documents. I don't want this job no more.
Yeah.
Forget it.
I mean, look, if you take a look at Barack Obama, how he looked like in the beginning of his presidency, and then 8 years later, he looked like he aged 50 years.
Hmm. Because you literally
I
have the
mean,
weight of the whole world on your shoulders.
yeah, and then you got to deal with politicians that that will stop at nothing to try to help him, and people forget that he was a biracial. He was our first biracial president.
Hmm.
It
Yeah, but
just keeps
even
getting
though
worse
that's the
today,
case, he didn't
too.
really do much for any of us, you know? Let's be
Yeah.
honest.
Ooh, don't let the black people come. There's some black people that will curse you out like, girl, first off, I know that I ain't have to pay tuition or something. They're going to find something to throw in the face. But he did the unemployment extension for extra 26 weeks. I ain't get unemployment, so I don't care.
Wait, who are you talking about? You talking about Obama?
Yeah, I think when he was office, didn't he do that extension of the unemployment insurance? Was that him? Or he had did something about the scholarships or like the tuition or something about
I think that was Trump. Trump like
Yeah,
funded
that,
the
yeah.
HBCUs. Yeah, that was actually Trump, as far as I know. But they didn't really want to give him credit for that because you know he's racist.
Well, look, I mean, he's about as anti-PC as you can get.
Hmm.
But
You kind
but
of
as
got to
far
pick
as
your poison because I feel like
Yeah,
yeah,
you want it
they're
to be
all
good,
racist
honestly.
to a certain degree, you know.
It's like you pick the person that's gonna lie in your face or the person that's gonna dress it up nice and lie behind your back.
That's a good way to look
Like
at
that's
it.
really how it be when it comes to voting because you think you're voting for the right person sometimes, and then it's like you found out when they're in office, oh, they just wanted to get in. They had no plans to do nothing. They said they was going to do it in election season or pre-election or before they got in office. They had their own hidden agenda the whole time. And you didn't vote for this person, and now you mad.
Well, you know, like Sleepy Joe was pretending to be all nice the whole time. And then, like, when he started pushing them vaccines, he got out there, he was threatening everybody, being all mean. I was like, all right, show your true colors, Joe.
Speaking about vaccines, I mean, here in New York, we have had hundreds of municipal employees that were fired for
I know,
refusing to
so
get
terrible.
Yeah.
Even one of my followers, Sutton Satin, she went through that, losing her job because of that.
Terrible.
And in fact, another YouTube creator, she had to change her job because she absolutely refused to get vaccinated. When you think about it, you really can't blame anyone. People they love to judge people who decided not to get vaccinated. The thing is, you don't know what is their situation. There are people who are medically unable to get vaccinated.
It
No
doesn't
one
matter
wants.
what their situation is. They just pull that shit out of their asses and was just like, y'all take this with no time, no nothing, you know? Like, I don't know. I probably have COVID right now. If it's not, it's the closest thing to it because it's all the same symptoms. But, like, I don't care. I'm not taking the vaccine. But that's just
Look,
me. I feel like everybody has a right to choose.
I
I
ain't
mean,
gonna lie, I took it and I was mad at myself because I was on YouTube talking about fuck the vaccine, no vaccine for me. I ain't doing nothing. I don't know what's in that, and I felt like I took it because I was pressured and forced into it, and I felt weak and I was upset with myself. Like I done succumb. I'm a sucker. Look what I done did. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get some fucking stocks in this shit. Fuck that. I'm gonna come up,
You
and I
got
did.
stocks in it?
Sure do, and Pfizer, I sure do, and I be getting them blue checks. Yes, I do.
Hey, but I mean, you also had to do what you had to do to provide for your family. So that's why I say it's not really about judgment. It's about just leaving people alone to make their own decisions, you know? For me.
Mm-hmm.
well, that was my philosophy from the get go. Okay, I mean, I stated on numerous times on my platform. Anybody has any concerns, speak with your primary care physician regarding COVID-19 and get all the facts. Once you get all the facts, then you make a decision whether to get vaccinated or not vaccinated. If you choose not to get vaccinated, just be mindful. Do whatever you can to limit your exposure to C-19. That's been my philosophy. Now, I actually did get vaccinated, okay? But in my case, it's different because I'm one of those individuals that have those particular health issues. Also, I have people, siblings of my family who died prematurely because they didn't take proper care of themselves. So I figured, well, you know what? Let me just get the vaccine, and so far I'm still here.
Thank God, yeah. I mean, it's different for everybody, even in the family members. Like, half of my family got it. Like, my husband got it, but I didn't get it, you know? I just feel like it's a personal choice. But they made it like a war for so long where it was like the vaccinated versus the unvaccinated, you know? It was just so divisive. Like, people were like breaking up their families over it, you know?
I mean, it was also getting to the point where um, there's certain people that they chose not to date simply because either they got vaccinated or they refused to get vaccinated. I mean, so it wasn't a question. Well, okay, do you share common interests? Is there a mutual attraction to each other? Simply because some of them didn't get the job, or they got the job, they didn't want to date them.
There's so many conspiracies surrounding it, though, you know? Some people feel like you get some sort of sickness just being around somebody who got the jab. I've seen a bunch of stuff on the internet. I know y'all have too.
Well, I mean, there have been people who have actually gotten the job and they died. No, but no one likes to talk about that.
No, I know a couple, to be honest.
I mean,
Mhm.
back in 2020, the president of our local got infected with COVID-19, and he almost died.
It just depends on, I think, God, what's his plan for you. You know, it's all in his time.
I agree.
It sounds
I,
cliche, but that's what I think.
I agree. But about Keisha, I'm glad to hear that you're safe because I was going to give you a call later on tonight after the stream just to check up on you.
Yeah, I'm
Keisha, I
home.
wanted to ask you too, because we were talking about it before. I don't know what your like personal beliefs are, but do you feel like we're in the end times?
Yeah, only because of what I heard as a kid. As far as my personal beliefs, I'm not a religious person, but I'm spiritual. So things is adding up, to me in that way. I see that, I'm not gonna be naive. That's what I think. I don't voice my opinion about it though. I try to be like
Hmm.
have all the faith in the world, like, no, but there's a possibility. But yeah, it's looking like that to me. I remember my grandmother talking about all the things I'm seeing right now in life.
Yeah. You know what I also think too, because it's like whether you believe in like religion or the Bible or whatever, or if you just like you're an atheist and you only believe in science, like either way, it's not looking good either way, right? Because they say like the Earth's gonna like self-destruct anyways. So
Yeah,
regardless of what you
for
believe,
real.
it's not looking good.
Yeah, regardless of what you believe, you got common sense, and if you thinking it, somebody else is thinking it's like, all right, there's something sparkling, and something it ain't the right sparkle.
Yeah, it ain't good.
Yeah, but when it comes to religion, you know, unfortunately, there have been people who use scripture to justify just about anything, which makes it bad for all of us who do believe and trying to live, a respectful life and be respectful for others. Because just because certain people who claim to be Christians act a certain way, automatically assume that we all act the same way.
Yeah, it's also dangerous too, and I guess in certain ways, um, to just talk about all that stuff too much, especially out here. Like the spiritual warfare is real out here, and in these YouTube streets as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some, how some of these individuals interacted, and and some of them, they're actually, I hate to say it, but almost sound demonic.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Hmm.
look, I mean, if you go on certain platforms and you have people yelling and screaming up the top of their lungs and people cursing each other and people threatening violence on whatever just because of any little piece of crap and whatnot. I mean, which is why when it comes to this platform, I try very hard to keep it a safe space for everyone to share their point of view. And I remember one time the Owl Show came on my platform, and he couldn't believe how peaceful and quiet it was over here.
Yeah, but Al loves it. Anywhere you go on YouTube, Al's there. It doesn't matter if it's what's going on. He's there. He loves it.
Hmm. Yes, that
He
is
be in
that
some
is
he be in
yeah.
some rough chats and rough panels.
Yes, in fact, I think there was a couple where he had went to told certain individuals. I think it was either on your platform, Gigi, or on Multi's.
I'm not sure what happened.
No, that he, there was someone. Um, I forgot the name, but he was asking some inappropriate questions and whatnot, and
Mhm.
he was picking on Al, and Al stood his ground.
Yeah. I've moved past the point of like internalizing what other people say and do on YouTube, but I do recognize how important it is to be careful of what you say because, you know, words are powerful and it's a great responsibility of the message you're putting out, you know?
That is so true. That is so true because we have the power of life and death for some of these people.
I mean, there's a lot of people that are mentally unstable, you know, on YouTube. So
Hmm.
if you like OD on anything, it's bad. So if you're listening to like anti-woman material 24 hours a day or anti-men or anti-black or anti-what, like all that shit becomes toxic when it's, you know, too much, when it's OD, you know? People got to know when to put down the phone and step away. I had to learn that as well. It was taking a toll on my mental health, you know? You have to like step back from reality and be like, this is not reality. This is like social media. Like if I don't like click on it, it doesn't have to really exist, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And look, and I know for some people, I'm not their cup of tea. But you know what? That's fine. There's like literally millions of other YouTube creators where you can go, and depending what is your specialty or whatever it is
Well,
you're
we
looking
love you,
for.
Jose. We know you're spicy and you get mad sometimes, but we love you. I wanted to ask you who didn't let you up on their platform that you was talking about in the beginning. What's the tea, honey?
I prefer. Okay, I I
Since I
prefer
got to be
not.
the messy one, let's get into it.
I prefer.
Okay.
I prefer not to mention it here. I'll I'll e- I'll I'll email you.
Oh, well, CC me, KashelFitNow@gmail.com.
I
But you know
was like,
what?
who done pissed off Jose?
But you know something? I recognize that every YouTube creator has the right to let and not let who get on their platform.
It's
Okay.
true. You don't want to get too entitled because, you know, you don't want to be that person either.
Because remember, multi-stream, I actually said that hopefully I'll be allowed to come in on other times. It's I'm
Yeah.
not okay. I'm not saying it because I'm in trouble. I'm saying it because look, multi dictate who gets on a platform.
Yeah.
Okay. And there are times where she's not going to open it to everybody. There's going to be times that she's only going to open it to women. There's going to be times that she's going to open it to certain individuals. So therefore,
Hmm.
when she asked me to step down so Magic Milano could get on, I mean, it was a
Hmm.
simple me acknowledging the fact that she is the queen of her channel, and she
Yeah.
could decide who gets on and what happened. And if one
Hmm.
day she decides not to let me on her platform, I have to accept it.
That's another thing too, though, about like people that when they come on your panels, is some people they are very entitled, right? So they feel like they don't have to like really add anything to the show and they just want to sit on your panel quiet the whole time. And it's like, nah, like at the end of the day, this is a show. You know what I mean? Like bring something or like I'm not gonna let you up. And I've had to get like that a little bit too with people where you just want to sit up on the panel and like not contribute anything. Like you're holding up a spot for somebody who can come up and contribute to the conversation, you know? Not
Right.
saying that's you, but I'm just saying people in general, you know?
No, I understand that, and and there'll be times
Hmm.
where I would not join a panel. It's not because I have a problem with the creator. It's just that there are times when it's better for me just to see the interchange and learn that way. And then perhaps the next time that the topic comes up, I may have something to share.
I ain't gonna lie, I be shy. Like I saw a radical stream, I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna have several seats. Like,
I mean, I get like
don't
that
be
too.
like that.
If I'm not like very knowledgeable about it too, I get iffy too, you know? That's why sometimes when you guys are talking about your thing over here, sometimes I just stay in the chat, you know? I don't have to jump on every panel. If I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, then I can just listen and learn, you know?
Yeah.
Right, and I'm learning that everyone has a different style because I was like on Don Armando's thing one day and he was live, but he wasn't saying anything, but he was dropping a link. I'm like, all right, is that how it works over here? because I only go to a few people live, so like everyone does their thing different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if
So
you
if you're
drop that
not
link,
familiar with the
anybody.
format, it's like you'll be like, so I'm like in the chat typing, but I'm not pressing the link because I'm like, well, ain't nobody talking. So, but I'm like, oh, well, maybe that's how he does it. I'm like, I don't know. I gotta watch more videos.
Well,
I see. I don't think I got that notification from Don.
okay. Well,
Yeah, that was
every
like last night, I think. Yesterday. Sorry, Jose.
well, every YouTube creator does things differently, okay? And it's fine for them, okay? Now, there's certain things I do that other YouTube creators don't do. Like, for example, if I see other YouTube creators hop on my platform, I make it a point in encouraging my audience to check out their content. And if they're not
Mm.
subscribed, to please to do so. Because when everything is said and done, um, we don't have large platforms. I mean, in my case, I have only 144 subs, so I have like a speck of a channel. So it's common courtesy and
The
just
first 100 are the hardest to get, though, so I wouldn't downplay it. The first 100 is the hardest.
Yeah, but
yeah.
I'm right under that 100. I'm right there. I'm like 68. I'm coming.
You got it, honey. You just got to come around and do more panels and just like get yourself out there. That's the thing. It's really sweet how Jose does that and promotes. But regardless, just going on people's, panels or whatever will get your channel name out there and it will help your channel grow. So whoever is gracious enough to let you up, take that opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna put my She-Hulk cape on.
Well, this so far this year, I actually gained 105 subs,
Yeah, that's awesome.
and the beauty part is all positive content.
Hmm.
Nothing, and I'm not showing any shade to anyone that does, you know, go ratchet or get spicy. I mean, it's just that's how they do it, and it's perfectly fine.
I gotta
It's
really
so
learn
funny.
the analytics, like looking at the YouTube studio data. I gotta really learn that.
Okay,
Girl,
well, actually,
all
I'm
you have
sorry.
to do is just have a live stream going on, right? And you're looking at your numbers on the live stream, and then let's say something pops off. Let's say two people start going back and forth, and you'll see, boom, them numbers will start jumping. Ultimately, that is the problem. And I've seen a lot of people making videos on it lately, is that people judge drama, but all they do is click on drama. So that's why YouTube is a mess. Because we all
Yep.
click on drama.
I mean, I look. I
Yeah.
have done. I have done shorts. Like, for example, I did one short on the Labor Day parade, and already gotten over 300 views. Just like a short that was like less than a minute long.
Oh yeah, those shorts are a good way too. That's why I do them too. It's a good way to get twerking in the algorithm, especially if you don't have time to do something, you know.
Hmm.
But I will say my first channel, I had a lot of drama and a lot of stuff, and it did build my channel very quickly. But this time around, I'm just like taking it easy, letting it come how it come, not letting it affect me, and not taking it too serious. And I'm enjoying it a lot more now. I'm not like rushed. I'm not stressed. It just is what it is, you know?
That's
Well,
good.
I'm, I'm glad for you, Gigi. Things have been more peaceful. And you haven't had to deal with some of the craziness
Hmm.
of a couple months ago. I mean,
Hmm. Yeah. But at the same time, this is like America. We build people up to break them down. So I kind of feel like everybody just kind of gave up on fucking with me once, like, you know, they saw what they thought was me broken, I guess you would say. They thought I wasn't gonna come back, but then I came back and they're just like, oh, F it. Like, she ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, whatever.
well, look. In all fairness, I have had people told me, stay away from some members of the Golden Spear, because because of the so-called drama. I mean, when you think about it, there's drama in every group. I mean, there's drama within the Latinos, there's drama regarding the African American community. It's just that unfortunately, when it comes to the golden spear and its peripheral, it gets more attention
Jose, you
because
can't stay away from the drama. You love it. Everywhere I go, I see you. Jose's like, hey. Jose be right there, okay?
Like, good evening.
Good evening. I'm here, bitches.
well,
But that's good. That's why your channel's growing and you're making, like, you're networking, making connections. A lot of people try to hate too. They want you to only stick with what you already know. They don't want you to expand. You know what I
yeah,
mean? You got to
and
think of like people,
Yeah, I'm learning that. Mm-hmm.
what their intentions really are for you. You know what I mean? Because I'm telling you, like, if you really put your whole heart into all this, it will get broken because most of these people are just out for themselves, no matter how much you could know them forever, but still, you know what I mean? This is the entertainment business and it's dog eat dog. And I've realized that.
yeah. I mean, I try to do different things. Like, for example, last month I had several topics, which I perceive that ladies can deal with, and and feel more comfortable. Of course, I gotten some pushback by one YouTube creator regarding that. It's just that I decide, it's my platform. I decide what gets discussed. And if I wanted to have a panel with nothing but females and closer to everybody else, it is my right.
Yeah, it's your platform.
Exactly.
When I first started YouTube, I said, I don't care like how big I get on YouTube. Like I'm always going to help like smaller YouTubers. And I want to like always be like that and not like get bitter. But you see like all of these huge content creators, they could like so easily just reach their hand down and help any of us out. It's not like they don't know who we are, but when you look at the history and you see all the backstabbing and all the people that they help put on, and then they turn around and they dox them and they tell their personal bit. This is why people don't want to help nobody on YouTube, because of the
Yeah.
backstabbing.
Wow, I'm
Yeah.
happy. I don't know none of that yet, for real. But guys, I'm gonna step down. I need to check on my kid and do some house things.
Mhm.
But thank you
Okay,
guys for
honey.
being here for me.
I'm glad you're
Okay. Well,
okay.
yes. So am I. I'm glad that you're safe. So just be careful out there.
And
Thank
I'm
you
probably gonna
guys.
get down too, Jose. You're welcome, honey. I'll talk
Have
to
a
you
good
later
Okay.
one. Okay,
because
thanks
I'm
for the
kind of
advice and
sick.
everything.
Okay. Well,
Hmm.
thank you, ladies, for stopping by.
Yeah, I'm gonna rest my voice and just lay down a little bit. Are you gonna keep going, or are you gonna
I'm
end the
gonna
stream?
go.
What do you
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna continue for a little bit. See if anyone else pops up. I do have a little bit more information to share. If no one, pops on, I'll probably end it like in maybe about 20 or 30 minutes, depending how it goes. One thing I know is that sometimes, like for the first hour, it could be almost completely dead, and then suddenly by the
It'll
second hour,
pop off. Yeah, I've seen that too. It'd be like that sometimes. But
yeah.
thank you for having me up, Jose. But I definitely need
Well,
some rest.
yeah. By all means, thank you for stopping by, and
You're welcome.
hopefully I will see you doing another stream in the near future.
Absolutely. Bye, honey. And bye,
Bye.
everybody. I'm still going to go
Bye.
down to the chat and listen.
Okay. Well, be safe.
Okay, thank you. You too.
Okay. Take care. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna share another article and see if anybody else. Um, Actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna continue sharing the article. There's one more piece, and the question is feeling disappointment good for you? And the answer is yes or no. Not at the moment, but the action you take after experience major disappointment can completely transform the eventual outcome and help you make better decisions. Disappointment is less useful as an emotion and more useful as a data point. When you experience disappointment, it tells you that something was off. Maybe it was the circumstances of the process or your expectations. In other words, it's time to look for a different way. And the best way to do so is the place called James Clear called the Valley of Disappointment. If you persist in these actions, these valleys, you can reach a breakthrough. And this is how it works. We set a goal or outcome we desire. We overestimate the good things that might happen when we first start a task, leading to the realization of this goal. Simultaneously, we underestimate the negative things that might happen. That is why the first part of any goal attainment can feel so treacherous. You're living in the valley of disappointment. But if we keep our expectations steady through time, the same things that disappoint us can uh, end up leading to a breakthrough. Just give it enough time, you see disappointment may be the most important thing in reaching your goals. Simply feeling disappointment tells you three important things. Number one, it means that you're passionate about something. Expectation is not the root cause of all headache or the same goals, but the very fact that your expectations miss the reality of the outcomes means that you were brave enough to show up for something. Number two, it's an opportunity for growth. With the right mindset, you can grow through disappointments as long as you commit to getting back and trying again. No matter what you thought you deserved, what happened is what you truly deserve. So from this disappointment, you can start to align your expectations with reality. You can also tailor your decisions so that you avoid this particular kind of disappointment again. And number three, it can make you stronger. Disappointment that stems from childhood trauma can be debilitating. It can make you feel like we can't try new things because we might fail. But knowing how to handle disappointment can also be the starting point of getting stronger and more resilient. Researchers say benefits of adversity include greater mental fortitude, increased emotional intelligence, clearer thinking, a strong stance against negative thinking. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stop here. Um, as I stated from the beginning, we all deal with disappointments in lots of ways. Let's see. Okay. So we can wallow in self pity, or what we can do is we can learn from the disappointments and try to do better. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you. Okay. One more article which was written on um, August 22nd, 2018, and of course it deals with um, dealing with disappointment. And the summary is as follows: disappointments are inevitable, and how we cope with them is often defining moment in our lives. Okay. Uh, no, this is a fictitious person, but I'll just gotta go ahead. Robert didn't know what to think. How could he misjudge the situation so badly? He felt angry, sad, and betrayed. Because of his impending retirement, Robert had carefully groomed a successor to take over a key project. The company's executives assured him that they agreed with his choice. But when push came to shove, they vetoed his candidate. Instead, they appointed someone else to take the lead, someone Robert didn't trust to continue the work that had been the capstone of his career. Robert was left kicking himself for not seeing it coming. The sense of futility and bewilderment was almost too much to bear. Many people successfully work through the disappointment. Somehow they have the strength to take stock on what happened to them, learn from the incident, and move on. They come out of such disappointment stronger. Others, like Robert, struggle. In these cases, disappointment can even become depression. How can we learn to manage our disappointments effectively? Okay. the first key. And also, we have, almost forget, we have the presence of Magic Molata. Good evening, kind lady. Thank you very much for stopping by. If you wish, you can join the panel or you can just continue to enter your comments in the chat. I just want to let everybody know that Magic Molata also has a platform, okay? And she does bring a lot of positive content. So I'm gonna ask if you have not done so, consider subscribing to her channel and check out her content. Okay. Now, the first thing to consider is managing expectations. Someone said expectation is the root of all headache. The quote recognizes that when we experience disappointment, our hopes and expectations are out of line with reality. Okay. And I see here we have another comment, which is okay. All right. Well, hopefully you find this topic. You're quite welcome. You're quite welcome. Um, and just to continue on. We all feel this way sometime from time to time. Some of these disappointments will not make much of a difference, but there's also disappointments that can change the course of our lives. Given the convoluted nature of desire, there are no experiences that are entirely free of disappointment. This makes one disappointment such as complex and confusing feeling. Many of our desires that we pursue are unconscious, subliminal, and frequently contradictory. Paradoxically, we may even become disappointed when we get what we want. For example, in Sigmund Freud's 1916 essay, Some Character Type Met With, in psychoanalytic work, he explored the paradox of people who were wrecked by success. Unconsciously, these people believed that their success was unjustified, so achieving it didn't satisfy them. In other cases, even when we get what we want and think we deserve it, we may discover that what we want so badly wasn't to bring the expected bliss and happiness. Another thing to consider, developmental influences. The way we handle disappointment is related to our developmental history, our relationship with our parents, and other early informative experiences. Some people seek to avoid disappointment by turning into underachievers. They unconsciously set their bar low and avoid taking risks to prevent themselves or others of being disappointed. Without realizing, they have decided that the best strategy is not to have high expectations about anything. Such behavior turns into a form of self-preservation. However, it also leads to a mediocre and unfulfilled life. Ironically, these people often turn disappointments for everyone, including themselves. Others, following a very different trajectory, seek to avoid disappointment by becoming overachievers. Although they tell themselves that their expectations of perfection are appropriate and realistic, these presumptions turn out to be not true at all. And I see we have another comment. Okay. Yes, I agree. The bar is set too high to ever make whatever they want to achieve unattainable. They forget that the perfectionism is rarely begets perfection or satisfaction. Instead, it too often leads to disappointment. Of course, there are also people who are more balanced developmental of history. These people usually have parents who didn't try to be perfect, didn't expect their children to be perfect either. By being good enough parents, they create a secure base for their children. These children feel secure in their relationships supported by rather than control and are able to play, explore, and learn, thereby acquiring the inner strength to cope constructively with the inevitable setback that will come their way in their journey through life. While it's helpful to know which way we lean, our developmental history is not our destiny. Whatever our development history may be, having a secure base
or not disappointment can provide us with valuable information about our beliefs in ourselves, other people, and what makes us happy. Okay, styles of coping. Major disappointments are often defining moments in people's lives. Constructively dealing with disappointment can be a self-curated process which that can contribute to personal growth and make the greater resilience. Take Winston Churchill as an example. Early in his career, the disastrous First World War military campaign rapidly forced him to resign from his position as the First Lord of the Admiralty. Churchill had come up with a plan, later called Churchill's Folly, to send a fleet through the Dardanelles Strait to capture Constantinople, present-day Istanbul, which he predicted would cause the Ottoman Empire, Turkey, to quit the war. But the plan utterly failed, and tens of thousands died. Churchill was disgraced and demoted. To cope with this calamity and the subsequent humiliation, we refocused attention and energy away from politics. 6 months later, after his promotion, he became an infantry officer and joined the fight in France. During his time out of the political spotlight, he thought through what had happened to him and what it taught him about dealing with life's challenges. Well, at first he felt overwhelmed by what he called the black dog of depression. Churchill realized that it was much more constructive to reframe his disappointment as learning experience in order to cope better in the future and to use disappointment as a catalyst for personal growth. Such soul searching provided him with new information about himself, the world, and others. Interesting point. Far too many people, when faced with disappointment, tend to attribute negative life events to their personal feelings. They resort to obsessional self-branding as they feel ashamed or humiliated or not measuring up to the image of their ideal self. As a result, they direct their anger inward towards themselves. It may prompt them to say that they deserve it, that they were not good enough. Others, however, will turn their anger outward toward other to people who didn't fulfill their expectation. It will contribute to feelings of spite, vindictiveness, and bitterness. Unfortunately, both emotions reactions can keep a person stuck in a web of disappointment. In many instances, disappointment can turn into a lingering sadness, a feeling of loss, of being let down, or even betrayal. In particular, this is a cause when disappointment is been inflicted by people whom they trusted deeply. In Robert's case, how can we overcome it? Okay. Unpleasant as disappointment may be, we can learn something from them. To constructively deal with disappointment, we need to first understand what had happened. Some instances, disappointment are predictable and preventable, but there are also others that are unavoidable and beyond our control. To manage disappointment, we need to differentiate between situations that fall within our control and factors that are beyond it. Being able to recognize the differences will help us to deal with our frustration more appropriately. We also need to check whether our expectations are reasonable. Are we having unrealistic high expectations and thus aiming too high, or are we setting our goals too low? If you belong to that group of people who set their expectation too high, working constructively through disappointment may help you to modify your expectations. You may also learn to move away from perfectionist standards. You may start to accept what is good enough. For those who have set the bar too low, they should stop doing is hanging on the false beliefs that life like there's no more hope or nothing ever works for me. Avoiding disappointment is not possible in life. Trying to do so is not a very constructive way of dealing with life challenges. When disappointment occurs regularly, it may be advisable to re-evaluate our perception and behaviors. We can also examine whether we are inviting disappointment. Could we have been clearer in communication of what we were expecting from others? Do we really know what we expect from ourselves? Are we listening to what others are saying to us? Could we have done something differently and arrived at a different outcome? Also, given what we know about ourselves, How can we adjust our expectations to be more effective the next time? And what support and resources do we have at our disposal to help us move through our feelings of disappointment successfully? And I see here we have another guest. So let me just bring the guest in. Okay, just give me a moment. Okay, oops, sorry.
Hello, how you doing? How is it going?
Fine, thank you. How
Um,
you been?
I'm good. This is the perfect topic for me today. Oh my god, I'm having like the worst day, and I'm like always confused. I'm like, life is so shitty sometimes. Like, it do be. It'd be like just hit you out of nowhere. Like it be going good. Like I'm a type of person. I used to be that type of person that was like an underachiever, because I was like I don't want to be disappointed by life. Life is just so hard, and so I really did become like really. I used to deal with a lot of depression and stuff like that, and not really wanting to do nothing because I'm like nothing really turns out anyway. Anytime I try to make like a plan or do anything with my life, it just goes. It just mess like nothing works out for me or whatever. So right now in my life, I'm trying to I got out of that in mindset, right? Because I got kids, I got a family, I got stuff I got to do. I can't sit around and just be a loser and be nothing, because that's a bad setting a bad example for my kids. Because it's like, if I wanted to want my kids to be successful and happy, if I don't know how to be successful and happy, how am I going to teach them? So I got to get my ass up and make sure I'm setting a good example for my kids, right? And it's just so disappointing. Things are going good for me right now. Like, I got a promotion at my job, and you know, but out of nowhere, it's just like, oh, I just had the worst day ever. I was just freaking. I don't know. It's all good though. I'm just trying to like learn how to deal with disappointments and keep moving and not let like things spiral out of control where like something goes wrong and then I'm just like, stop letting it stop me. It's like you can't let stuff stop you. You got to keep moving, right?
Yeah. Well, look, in my case, I've been a serious YouTube creator for over a year. Okay, and
Mhm.
in my case, my growth has been very slow.
Mhm.
There are weeks where I don't have any gains, any subscribers, and there's a couple of weeks I lost a couple. But the key is just be consistent, be true to yourself, try to think outside the box, and talk up, share information on different topics. And sometimes it could be a bit, just a topic, it could be a bit of a challenge for me, but you have to sometimes get out of your comfort zone and try to do different things.
Exactly. That's where I'm at. I'm at trying to push myself out of my comfort zone so I could be like, cause it's like I got comfortable, kind of just like at like I was like I'm talking about like my early, like my teenage years and like my early. I got kind of comfortable, kind of in that overachiever. I'm not overachiever, but underachiever mindset where I was like I don't really. I used to smoke a lot of weed and just not really care about anything or not really care about myself, and so I'm trying to like not be comfortable with that. I want to make sure I had my first child at 21, right? So I started having kids young and then I got married and everything. And I want to like not be that person. I want to like be comfortable with being somebody who's mentally strong and not I don't know, I don't want to be comfortable. And spiritually speaking, okay, it's Mercury retrograde, which is, if you're not familiar with astrology, it's basically when I really believe in this. Like I do. A lot of people don't, and that's okay, but I didn't even know because I kind of fell off my like whole spirit. I used to be super into all like my spiritual stuff and everything, but I kind of forgot about it. I was kind of focusing on like material worldly things, like getting my money up and trying to make sure my family's straight, like kind of like earthly. I wasn't really focused on my spiritual path. So Mercury retrograde started on September 9th, which is like a time when Mercury kind of slows down, which is the planet of communication, right? So that's when like so this is a time when like the past pops back up when you're thinking about your past, when your communication issues pop up. Like there's been so much communication issues I've been having a lot of technical, like even like I was like I want to take this computer back, it's not working right. I've been thinking a lot of my past lately, you know, and I didn't even know it was like Mercury retrograde. And then I found out it was. I was like, oh my god, that makes so much sense. So it's real. Like it's like a real astrological thing that happens like every three times a year, I think. And it's just, oh, it's hitting me hard. It's just I think it really does like affect things, but it's okay. Like if you don't, I personally do see how it affects things, and it's like crazy because it's like it's crazy. But I'm just like I just been trying to. I've been thinking about my past a lot and how I want to be a better person. I just want to you know try to be better and learn from my past and not fall back into negative patterns and negative stuff that I've used to do in my past.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
mhm.
yeah. Well, look, the fact of the matter is, no one is ever too old or too young to make a change. I
Yeah.
mean, I know within the last few weeks, I have done some self-reflection of my own, and right now I'm seeing a therapist because I'm dealing with a lot of emotional issues. I also have been dealing with disappointments and things of that nature, and it's just that we have to be willing to accept the fact that you know disappointments will come. It's just that how we deal with it. And I just want to acknowledge the fact that we have the presence of Reese from Philly. Good evening, sir. Thank you very much for stopping by.
Hi, Reese. How you doing? I know
Yeah.
he was disappointed. He was trying to flirt with that girl, and she threw him down.
Well, you know what?
Playing,
You
I'm just
you you
playing.
you got you got to admire his gumption, though.
It was gumption, pure gumption. I think he
No,
has a
I said
chance.
gumption.
I think he has a chance if he get his money up or whatever. I think he could do it. I think he could pull her. I do. I think so.
Well, you know what?
I believe in him.
Time, but you know what? Time would tell. But you know what's the problem is you have some people that look at YouTube as like Tinder or Bumble. So
Mhm.
when they see a beautiful lady, um,
Oh,
and
they
then
on it.
yeah, it's like right on right. But the problem is they don't know how to approach them, and then
Mhm.
they get disappointed, and
I
then they
can't.
go sorts of.
Man, I
I
can't
mean, they
imagine
get
being
so.
rejected over YouTube. I can't imagine that. Cause being rejected in real life, I've dealt with reject. I'll get her in January. I believe. I totally believe in it. Like yes, but I can't imagine like being rejected over YouTube. Like I could like in real life. I've been rejected before. Of course. Like, all of us have dealt with rejection. That's life. That's. But it's okay. Dealing with rejection and disappointment, that's like the same thing almost. But it's cool. It can make you a stronger person if you let it. If you let it, you're like okay, if you know just know how to deal with it and move on, and it can make you greater. It can make you want to go push harder and do better, right?
Yeah, I mean that's how you see it. When I think about the times that I've had disappointments, of course I can easily wallow in my self pity. But I think,
Mhm.
okay, so what I did was, okay, I was able to take a look. Okay, this is where I screwed up, and this is where I could do better. So the
Mhm.
next time,
You gotta
if
take
there
into
is a
account,
next,
right?
exactly, and the word is accountability, something that
Accountability.
some people don't practice nowadays.
Facts. And it's so easy to like, okay, I seen a post today. It made me mad. I don't know why. I was trying to look for it again because I was gonna comment on it and be like, be mad if I can't find it. It was talking about, oh, you whiny it was talking about millennials and how we're whiny and like we're so privileged and everything, you know what I'm saying? I was like, privileged where? Like, cause people think that like I don't know. And I was just like, I don't know how I got, but I'm just saying like how it's like I don't know. I felt like a disappointment there. Oh, hold on.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Okay, but it was like I felt like a disappointment there. I was like, dang. I feel like I don't know. I feel like I just wish that we could be like I don't know. I wish that I it's a disappointment when your life don't really when you feel like you're not where you want to be at in life, and it's easy for me to sit here and be like, oh well, this reason, this reason, this reason, this reason. And that's what I was about to do in like the comment. I was about to be like, well, this happened and this happened and this happened and this happened, and it's all a bunch of but I'm about personal accountability, so it's like of course things happen, and but it's like but you got to take into account like your own personal choices in life, and that's what I got to do. That's why I had to sit back and just look at my own personal choices in life and be like, well, I got myself into this hole, so it's up to me to get out of it, and I can't sit here because you give empowered away. If you sit here blaming everybody for everything else, well, who became before you, or who did this and all these other people who did that, it's like you're never gonna get out because you're giving your power away to everybody else. You gotta just keep your power in. There's a lot of power in accountability. You're taking your power back when you're accountable for your own actions.
Well, see, in my case, I'm a baby boomer, so so basically, I'm more or less a senior citizen, and of course, I heard a lot of baby boomer, commentary. Oh, you're too old. You should go home and go to a retirement
You're
home
never
and
too
whatnot.
old. No, never. That's ageism. That's so rude. They're just being ageist because that's the blessed people don't look at it like you're the lucky ones that got to age that got to get to that age. A lot of people dying young, so it's like that's a blessing. That means you did something right in life, that you took care of your health, you didn't put yourself in bad situations, that so you did something right, that you got to that age, so I don't believe in age. My mom's a CNA, so I was around old people my whole life, so I guess I got a different viewpoint on it, than most people.
Yeah. Well, actually, in about 3 weeks, I'm going to be 60.
Really? Oh, happy birthday. Happy early birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. But it's just that lately I have been dealing with a lot of disappointments. As
Mhm.
far as disappointments as far as myself,
Mhm.
disappointments as far as how
So it never end. It never end. You never get to a point cuz I'm 28 right now. I'm about to be 30 in like a couple years or whatever. And I'm like, "Oh my god, at 30, I'm going to be set," but it's never like that, right? That's setting myself up for disappointment. If I feel like, "Oh, by the time I'm 30, life is going to just be I'm going to just that's not going to happen, right?"
no, I mean, look,
That's
and
just
look,
that's
look,
just setting myself up for some disappointments.
look at my stage of life. What I'm just trying to do is like, look, I have a few years before I retire, so I want to make sure that my life is as stress free as possible,
Mhm.
which means, if I have to avoid certain people, so be it. If I have to like avoid certain platforms, so be it.
Mhm.
And I know I'm not everyone's cup of tea because I don't do
Mhm.
registries, I don't do drama streams. Because look,
I
the thing
appreciate
is,
that.
in fact, at one time, the L show was on my platform. He commented he couldn't believe how peaceful it was over here.
It's peace. Peace is good. Peace is a blessing. Peace of mind.
Yeah.
Because you could avoid everybody, right? You could avoid all the toxic people, but who you can't avoid is your own mind, your own self. You can't escape your, and that's what a lot of, I deal with that a lot, like escapism, like the internet. Like, of course, it's like an escape, and I've used like social media as like escape mechanism. But it's like you can't run away from yourself. So it's like it's hard enough to deal with yourself. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes in your own mind and trying to overcome negative thought patterns, try to overcome, you know? So it's like, wait, hold on.
Okay. Well, one thing about being a parent, about being a mother's job is never done. It's 24/7. It's ongoing. So I can just imagine.
Oh yeah, that's true. Let me go see what you want.
Okay. But like I said before, this the last couple of weeks I've been doing a lot of self-reflection, and I'm just trying to be the best version of myself. I know at times I've
taking things too seriously, and you know, you know,
That's what me and Al, we had a disagreement at one time because he said he's 50, right? And I
yeah.
was like, he's like, I'm like, you can't take things too seriously in life. I guess that he's like, no, when you get my age, you have to take things super seriously. I'm like, I don't know, because in my spiritual journey, that was like a point where it's like life is like a joke. It's like a game almost. But just because it's a joke in a game, it shouldn't be it's not trivial. It's something that you want to put your all into. You want to like really put your energy into and make sure like you don't want to be an underachiever, right? You want to make sure like you're focusing on what you want to do with your life and putting a lot of effort into things. But I don't know, taking things too seriously, I don't know. It's like because you got to see the humor in things. Like that's how I get through my bad times. I got to see the humor. Like I got to like today I was watching like a podcast and I was just laughing. Like having a sense of humor is so important.
I mean, look, in my case, within a 30-year period, I have attended 7 funerals in my immediate family. I've gone through 3 major procedures in my health. I've dealt with bouts of depression and suicidal thoughts.
Oh yeah, there's stuff
So,
you take seriously in life that's very like it's serious. Life, there's things in life you take
so
seriously for sure.
yeah. So when you deal with all that crap, you try to learn how to keep things into perspective. There's certain things you worry about. There's certain things, you know what? You can't worry. You can't do anything about it. So why worry?
It's a waste of imagination. That's the quote. Worrying is a waste of imagination. So it's like it's a waste. You know, it's easy to slip into because I don't know. You think like you're protecting yourself somehow if you sit here and worry, but you're not really doing nothing. You know, and my husband tells me that all the time. You worry about the wrong things, and I guess he's right. I gotta let go. Like learning how to let go is so important. Like detachment from things, like that's something like the Buddhist philosophy teaches a lot, like detachment. And in Taoism, it's something called Taoism. It's about like being in the flow of life and not being overly attached to people, places, things, emotions, thoughts. And I think it's so like helpful for me in my life, like just not overly attaching myself and just letting things flow. If something bad happens, it happens. If something good happens, it happens. And not being overly attached to like something that's when you overly attach to like positive things, they slip away. And then when negative things happen, they hit you twice as hard. So it's like when you overly attach to like negative things, you can't really see the good and stuff. So it's like it's a really tricky balancing act that life is. Trying to find like trying to just but what you can see the bigger picture when you're detached, like when you're kind of detached from it all and you could see like the bird's eye view of everything. You're not just overly emotional. Like your emotions could cloud your judgment of things really badly. So I do like, I like Taoism. That's something I've learned about on like my spiritual journey. I think it's really interesting to like, learn about.
Well, I'm a Christian, and people say it's a religion. It's a religion, but it's also a way of life. It's also a philosophy, and I truly believe that if people can deal with it in this most purest form, it's very beneficial. Unfortunately, you have people who are misinterpreting what Christianity is. One of the one of the things that we are taught is that give our cares and worries to God. It does not mean not to face them. It face them, but just to keep everything in its perspective and real, and trying to overcome whatever adversity you're dealing with. Because I have to deal with a great deal of adversity in my nearly 60 years. I mean, when I think about some of the stuff I had to deal with, like I said, I mean, so many deaths in my family, and then having to have undergo major health procedures, and then going through depression and mental health issues, and the fact I'm still here.
I love that. Yeah, because I could definitely. It's kind of like the same thing. Let go and let God, right? Like
Exactly.
trust that your hands are in your higher power, and you have faith, you have trust in God, and God has your back, and God. It's kind of like what I say. Like the universe has your back. If God has your back, same thing. We're basically, and that
Yeah.
it's so important, like having those like kind of spiritual foundations, and being connected to like, your higher power or God, or like when times get rough, that's all you have at the end of the day is like that's all you have sometimes is that faith
Yeah.
that you're gonna get through it, and having that spiritual foundation in your life is so, no matter if you're a Christian or whatever, whatever, if you're a Muslim or all religions, I believe all point you back to God, and at the end of the day, that's what I believe. And yeah,
Hmm.
definitely.
Yeah. Well, I truly believe that this was an appropriate topic because it is applicable to me because I have dealt with a lot of disappointments in my life, disappointments in myself. I have disappointed others. Um, People have disappointed me, not being there when I needed them, and
So
the fact I'm
it's a real
I'm sorry.
topic. It's a good topic. I appreciate it. It's very
Yeah.
relevant in my life right now, dealing with disappointments, and life is always, I'm trying to like reestablish a positive relationship with life, because I remember back when I was like a teenager or whatever, I was younger, I'm like, oh, I hate life, because all these bad things would happen. But it's like I'm trying to learn how to like fall in love with life, even though there is disappointments, even though there is people who disappoint me and I disappoint others, and you can still have that love for life and for what it is,
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be perfectly honest, I mean, people like yourselves, you know, dealt with issues that many of us have not had to deal with. Among is like self-identity, because when you're biracial or multiracial, sometimes there's issues with identity, and then this issue with self-esteem, and that's something that I'm just beginning to observe dealing with the biracial and multiracial community. I know as far as you guys are concerned, I'm an outsider, but nevertheless, there's a lot of of the creators that I do support.
hmm Oh yeah, there's a lot of issues there, even dealing with like the golden State, there's a lot of us disappointed, even people who say, oh, I don't want to be associated with it, because of how disappointing they felt. And like, there's rarely any like biracial communities or anything. So it's like the one we have, a lot of people felt disappointed by it. It was like, oh my God, there's so much drama, there's so much of this, there's so much that. It just gets overwhelming. And me personally, I try to I've always lived, I was raised Christian. I always live by that golden rule: treat people how you want to be treated, right? So I truly believe that, because I truly believe what you put out there in the universe, like it comes back to you. So if I'm on here cyberbullying people or doing things to other people that I want what happened to me, it's gonna come back to me always, So that's why I don't go around cyberbullying people or harassing people, stalking people, doxing. I just truly believe all that's gonna come back to you, and I don't want that. I don't want that to happen to me. So why would I do that to other people? So that's why if everybody live like that. Of course, everybody's not going to, because that's okay. Let everybody be how they want to be. But that's kind of the people I try to be around. People who know, like, oh, people who know, like, they want to treat other people how they want to be treated. So that's kind of the people I want to be around. They're not going to come online, because these are human beings. Like, of course, we'll never meet each other in real life, and like offline or nothing, but still, you still have your own life, you still have your own, you're still a human being. Like, these are still human beings behind these screens. And we should be treating each other like human beings, and not you know just because it's anonymous and you feel like you can get away with talking to people any kind of way, or treating anybody any kind of way, or doing, or I think it's wrong. Like, I've always, I don't like it. I do hope, I wish, I want, I think our space is like, it's progressing forward. I think it is. I think we've gone through a lot of course, like any space. Like, I was talking about that on my live stream. Every online community I've ever been a part of has gotten toxic at some point. Every single one of them. But I think we could grow and heal and move on. And if you really believe in something, you could help it move forward and progress. And I think that's what's happening in like the biracial spaces and like the MGM spaces. Like we're trying to figure out what's best for us and do that and be in unity. You know, we all just want unity and try to get rid of things that are keeping that from happening. You know, just live and learn, right?
Yeah, well, I've been taken to task a couple of times with my interaction with the biracial and multiracial community, and sometimes ask, why are you dealing with them? And I said this before, and I'm gonna say it again. If you're cool with me, I'm cool with you. That's my bottom line.
Yeah. Yes.
And there's a lot of great people in the golden sphere, and it's peripheral. I mean, you people like yourself, you have people like James Maps, you have Blazing King, you have Angry Biracial, you have AMR, The Future is Golden, Gigi, Multi. Uh, there's so many uh, great YouTube creators in the golden sphere. So it's just that I have the pleasure to interacting with all of them. And I'm not out the golden sphere, but hopefully I'm being accepted as well, at least by some of the community. And I do want the community to understand that they're more than welcome to be on my platform.
Absolutely, and I appreciate that. I like people like I'm cool with people who cool with me. You know, I love all people. I don't care what race they are or whatever. You know, who cares about that really? You know, I like the Golden Sphere. You know, it's interesting. It's good to connect with people who relate to you, and I like connecting with people of all different backgrounds. Like that's what my platform is about. Like learning about people from different backgrounds, and I like expanding my mind and like learning what other people have been through. And then finding a connection. Like, oh, maybe there's some things we have in common. There's some things we don't have in common. So let's explore. I embrace differences. I like
Yeah,
learning about people's differences you know and it's great when we have. I believe every human being. I think we could all find something we have in common, and at the same time we could also embrace and learn from each other and explore each other's differences in a healthy way. That's what I try to do on my platform a lot. Just try to
yeah.
like explore its differences and also find commonality. So embrace it and just find. Yeah, but it's been nice talking to you. I'm gonna go. Speaking of Angry Biracial, he got like a little premiere going on. Let me go check out, see what he got going.
Okay, well, thank you very much for stopping by.
Of course, it was a great convo. I feel a lot better. I like talking to you. I'll come up here again sometime, okay? I definitely want to support your channel more. I love your channel. I love what you're doing. I think this was
Thank you.
great. It's really helped me a lot. I like how you're giving information that's going to be beneficial to people, and I appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, have a good night.
You too. Be safe out there.
Bye. I will. Bye.
Bye.
You too.
Okay, fine. Well, what I'm gonna do at this point, it's been about 2 hours. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start to wrap it up. I think it was a productive stream. And I'm sure other people are going to watch it on the playback. And the fact of the matter is, we all have to deal with disappointments from time to time. So the key is to, you know, do some self-reflection, take a look where we went wrong, and and accept the fact that, okay, we may have done some things wrong, but at least we dared to do something different, and that's the key, and that's one of the points which was being shared earlier tonight. Okay, we may not achieve uh, the outcomes that we wanted originally, but if we can learn from our failures, it will help us to do better, and it'll help us to keep our expectations to be realistic. So, of course, I want to thank everybody who appeared on the chat. People like Afro, Magic Malata, Reese, James Map, Blazing King, and Kay, uh, Gigi. And of course, I want to give a huge shout out to all the people that have. Oh, oh.
Keisha. Almost forgot about her. I was going to give a huge shout out to all those who appeared on the panel, which was Magic, Gigi, and Keisha. Okay. So, and I think the takeaway is this: we all have to face with disappointments. The key is let's look at it as an opportunity to learn and an opportunity to improve ourselves. And if any of us have disappointed others, let us learn to accept correction and constructive criticism so therefore we can do better. Now, on Thursday's stream, I'm going to be talking about what are deal breakers. Okay. In other words, what are those things that are not acceptable to you when it comes to relationships? And when I mean relationships, I mean dating. Okay. And we must bear in mind what may be a deal breaker for one is acceptable for another person. So it's not going to be it's not going to be a right or wrong answer. It's just that we're going to be looking at things differently, and that's perfectly fine as long as we are able to do so. So I'm going to have the topic Thursday um, at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, and 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. And if anyone wishes to add a comment after the stream is over, you're more than welcome to do so. All I ask is let's keep it constructive, okay? And that being said, well, I see there's some more people looking at the stream. In any case, I just want to say thank you, even though some people are catching it late. I always appreciate whenever anyone decides to hop onto the stream, even at the last minute, okay? Because you could always get something positive. So, that being said, if anyone wishes to add a final comment, otherwise, let's go to wrap it up. But in any case, it's been my pleasure to discuss this with all of you. And I really do appreciate all of you very much. And I just want to say that if at any time that I did not meet your realistic expectations, I do hope that you accept my apology and I will do better the next time. Because my goal is to try to bring to you quality content. Because you good people gave up something that can never be returned, which is your time and energy. So I do appreciate it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to close with a new saying. Be good to each other, be good to yourself and to each other. And what I mean by that, love yourself and appreciate yourself for what you are. And always remember that no matter what other people think, you are valuable to yourself. So with that being said, this has been another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. And I just say thank you very much. Take care and peace.
Be strong. Be strong. Be strong. Thank you.